Welcome to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And we're talking about Hope Church Memphis, and a lot of good indeed. And so we're honored to be joined by Pastor Rufus Smith with Hope Church Memphis, and also Donna Nasso, Director of Macky and Friends, which is a special needs ministry department of Hope Church Memphis. How are you two doing?
Doing great. Thank you.
Super duper. Thank you, Jeremy.
Absolutely. Well, you all do so much good to power the good on a number of fronts, and we'll talk about Macky and Friends and dive in. But let's start. Pastor Smith, give us a little bit overall about Hope Church Memphis, and then we'll tie that into Macky and Friends.
Wonderful. So Hope Church Memphis was founded by Dr. Richard Craig Strickland in 1988. So we are 34 years old as of last September. And our mission really is to engage unchurched, de-churched people of every age and ethnicity so they can experience Jesus Christ. And so part of that, though, is reaching out to the community, to those who are marginalized. And thus, many years ago, Hope for Macky and Friends started because many of these families, up to 70%, are isolated from fellowship at a church or other organizations, about 70%. Also, the divorce rate is higher than the norm, which is about 70%. And that makes it a lonely group of people. So we want to reach out to them. And so many years ago, we started weekend worship. And today we have for families with developmental disabilities, about 40, 45 families on the weekend. When we do respites, which is Friday evenings, which we call the bridge, and families can bring, we have to limit it to 55 people, 55 children and families, because the ratio to volunteer to kid is so special, 1 or 1 to 2. When we have Vacation Bible School, for example, we have 70, 75 kids. And then for Fall Fun Fest or Easter weekend and so forth, 550 to 600 families. So what we try to do is everything that we do for typical kids, we also do for families with developmental disabilities. And out of that need and seeing over the years these needs came the intimate knowledge of what Donna is going to share phase 2 of what we're moving into. And she is just a wonderful director. We've had a couple before her, but she is here to take us to the next level.
Awesome. Well, that's a good transition over. But for you, Donna, this is personal. And so give us, before we dive in deeper on the programmatic side, give us a little bit of your personal storyline.
Okay, so I have a son who is 28. His name is Jack. He is deaf, nonverbal, and autistic. And so he has trouble understanding rules, following procedures, whatever. And we have tried several programs in the Shelby County area, and they just told us it wasn't appropriate for him. They didn't know sign language. They didn't know how to deal with it. So we've kind of had the anguish of being asked to leave certain programs. And so I talked to Rufus, and he said, we need to start something here at Hope. And that's kind of where we're going, because everybody needs to be cared for. Everybody needs to have a safe place to come. And so that's why we're starting this pilot program at Hope. If you'd like to get started on that, it's called our Hope Pilot Day Program. And we're starting with 7 individuals. And it's an amazing program here because we don't want to turn anybody away. A lot of programs, if you're in a wheelchair or if you can't feed yourself or go to the restroom by yourself, they say you can't come to our program. And we look at it, God, we got to take care of all God's children. And if we have to hire special people to do that, we will hire special people to do that. And that's what touched my heart about Pastor Rufus. He said, we won't turn anybody away if we can. So.
And the reason we're starting with 7, obviously, Jeremy, is to perfect the pilot, and then we can scale.
Right.
Talk about kind of where you are in this moment and then ultimately where you want to go. So the vision moving forward.
Yeah. So right now we're doing 2 days a week, like 9 to 12. The goal is to move from Monday through Friday. And the goal is so The participants will have somewhere to come so they can be with their friends. See, when they leave school, they were used to the structure, the guidance, the direction. And then when school's over, or when you age out of school, they were basically sitting at home on the couch, watching television, eating, not exercising, and just regressing. And COVID did not help. That just compounded the issue. So we want to have a place for them to come, be with their friends, and provide that structure, provide activities. May it be arts and crafts, music, exercise, or even job skills training if they're able. But not only for the participant, we're doing this for the parents. And what I mean by that is parents need respite. My son stays right beside me 24/7. He wants to be with me, and he doesn't understand when I'm not in the room. And so a lot of parents are like that. Their children, they're constantly waiting on them or caring for them. They need that break. They need that opportunity to do things that they couldn't do. One great example during our pilot program, the parent would come in and she dropped her son off and she said, "Now, what do I do?" I said, "Go to Starbucks, go drink some coffee." And she's like, "I've never done that. I've never been able because my child hollers. And so people look at us. We've never been to Starbucks." I said, "Go to Starbucks, go walk around Target." I said, "Go get your hair done." And she's like, "What do you mean get my hair done? I've never had my hair done. I do it myself because I can't take him or her to the beauty shop with me." So not only are we hoping to help the participant, we're helping the families too. And when you have some rest time and you can take care of yourself, guess what? You're going to take care of your loved one so much better when you can breathe.
Absolutely. I think what's unique about this too is the church is leading the way to do this, right? And so talk about the importance of faith in the church and taking care of all God's children. I think that's a unique aspect of this. So talk about the importance of the church doing this.
Yeah, so we love that the church can lead the way because that's what Jesus did. He reached out to those who were marginalized. They needed mercy and they needed grace. And so we do that. It has been revelatory for us over the years to not only focus on the child or the kid, but as Donna said, the parent, because as typical parents, we could drop our kids off to baseball practice or dance or whatever and then have a little respite time. That is not the case here. And so ministering to the entire family, give them an opportunity for spiritual nourishment. And as she said, if the entire family, particularly the adults, are healthy, they can provide better care for their children. It's sort of like you hear when you're on a plane, right? If the plane loses decompression, then you put your mask on first, and then you assist your children. So the parent is very critical. So we try to work on both of those. And we think the church is the perfect institution to be able to do it. So, Jeremy, the volunteering is like 1-to-1 or 1-to-2. I mean, it's a very low ratio. And so the church is a perfect place where people who are volunteers, they want to do good, they want to reach out and follow the one that they serve. So it is volunteer heavy, or we could not possibly do this work.
Touch on, you mentioned the impact, obviously, for the parents to have the respite and be able to go and enjoy Starbucks for the first time. What sort of feedback have you gotten from the children? So talk about what it means for them to blossom.
So that's an interesting question. So I love it because when they drop them off in the morning, the parents are kind of lingering and they're like, "Bye-bye, see ya," because they want their time alone, right? Everybody wants to have their time with their friends, and you want that separation from your parents. You really do. And so that's been kind of funny. And the parents are kind of like, "Wait a minute, I'm the one who's, what do you mean you want me to leave?" So I think it's great that they want to be there, number one. They have fun. We laugh, we play. I hate to use the word we make people participate. We don't make them, but we encourage, like, okay, let's all stand up and do our stretching. Let's all, do our craft or whatever. And some that at the very beginning were kind of standoffish, if all of a sudden they're like participating now and they're laughing and they're talking and they're giving you eye contact. So it's a beautiful thing. I love it. Love it.
I mean,
Well,
people are made to thrive in community, and that's what
Exactly.
this is all about. Yeah.
I was just about to say, you really are building community. And when you talk about, building confidence, independence, all of those things, relationships, but ultimately it comes back to exactly what we're talking about. You're building community.
Yes.
So in the same regard, then what's been the feedback from the volunteers? Because I got to believe it's touching their hearts too.
Right, right. And like Rufus said, it takes a special person. You've got to want to do this. You've got to feel it. You got to, and there's so many people that are not made for this. And I completely understand that. That's like, we talk about, we have cone heads at church. If you don't like traffic situations, don't volunteer to be a cone head. If you don't like babies, don't volunteer in the nursery. So you've got to want to do this. And the volunteers that we have say it gives them pleasure, it gives them joy, and it gives them fulfillment, and it makes their whole day. And it just makes me feel good. I mean, I don't have to make people do this. They want to do this. So.
And I would say what I hear from volunteers as well, these are volunteers, most of whom do not have children with exceptional needs. And it raises their awareness, and it gives them a deeper appreciation for their own families. And how in the world does this person, a lot of them single, not only deal with life, but have to deal with a child or an adult with exceptional needs? And so it really enhances their own gratitude for life, their lives as well as others.
Well, and it goes back to your building community, right? It gives you respect, empathy, patience, appreciation, all of those things that go back to a deeper understanding of each other, which builds in that stronger relationship for community. And so I think, a lot of powerful threads with what we're talking about with a higher purpose, obviously. So talk about how the community can get involved and help your efforts. I mean, obviously volunteerism is one piece of this, but talk about all the different ways the community can help lift.
Well, I mean, of course, volunteers, we got to have the volunteers. But of course, we need resources to get this started. Let's be real. So we need funding for personnel, because we do need specialized personnel. We want to hire only the best and those who have talents that can help us. So yes, we need help with that, resources.
As well as raised awareness.
Right.
There are obviously in the community, Donna will have statistics, for example, of say how many kids age out of high school in various districts.
So yeah, I've called the school districts and asked, like how many do you have aging out? And like Germantown may have 5, Collier may have 10, but then Shelby County, of course, has a larger number. So every year you're going to see the number going up and up and up, and they need somewhere to go. Yes, luckily some might be able to find some jobs, but the majority of those need structure and guidance and somebody to watch them. And like I was telling Rufus, 10 years ago, it was 1 in 168 births, somebody was born with autism. Now that rate is 1 in 44. And so, think about it. You're at a hospital. Chances are somebody in that hospital that day is going to have a baby with autism, and somebody's going to have to care for them when they age out of the school system. So we're trying to prepare for that. We're looking forward to that. Like I told Rufus, I would love to have a freestanding building in our parking lot. We've got the space. I would love to build a day program with everything we need, from a gym to a pool to craft room to a kitchen. I would love to do that. That was my ultimate dream, is to take care of everyone.
And we already have specialized rooms right now, sensitive to light and so forth and so on. But raising the awareness is important. I would say also, Jeremy, for families who have children who are born with developmental disabilities, it's a support group of people who have been ahead of them. I love Donna's story I asked her, how did she feel when Jack was born? And you used the word devastated.
Oh, I was just completely devastated. He was actually a twin. And so you can just imagine, I'm comparing my twins, and he stayed at Le Bonheur the first 11 months of his life on a ventilator and a feeding tube. And you think to myself, will he ever be able to walk, to talk, and doctors can't tell you. But I had such a deep, deep faith. And I was telling Rufus, I just prayed super hard one Christmas morning that, just help me and help him. And he did. Prayer comes to, and he's a beautiful child. I love him to death. He still has needs, yes. And will I take care of him the rest of my life? I sure will. But we have a support system. And this is what's going to help, is this day program is going to help me, and it's going to help everybody coming after us.
And when families are confronted with this, there's a whole community that says, we can empathize. We've been there, and we're going to help you through it. So raising awareness that such exists is important. There are 4 to 5 groups right now that take families who have aged out. But it's not nearly enough. And quite frankly, some of them are so specialized that they're not in the target market that we are in, that we don't want to turn anyone away.
Yeah, I love it. We'll wrap up in terms of where people can go to learn more, get involved, and show their support, and obviously be a part of everything you're doing. So where do we go to learn more?
Well, I tell you what, you can email me direct at donna.nasso, Nasso, at hopechurchmemphis.com. Please email me. I would love to talk to you. If you just want to share some ideas, or if you have some connections or whatever, please email me. I would love to reach out and maybe even meet in person.
And then what about the website, the Hope Macky and Friends website?
Or you can go to the Hope Church website, and we are located under that as one of the ministries.
Hope for Macky and Friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the website overall, hopechurchmemphis.com. So hopechurchmemphis.com makes it easy, and you can go there and learn, obviously, all that we're talking about and more. So Pastor Rufus Smith, Donna Nasso, thank you for all you and your amazing team do. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.